Professor Abhidi, Professor Roy, Dr. Abdullah, Chairman of Birla Science Museum, Curator of the Science Museum, and all of my colleagues, the young students. Almost everything has been said, so let me say a few more words. There are two people here. When I used to come and attend this program years ago, one man used to come here. He is no more. He used to typically be the chief guest, known as Bimalda to everybody, the man who was a leader of a lot of the freedom fighters from India. He has recently left for his heavenly abode. Other than him, I am not sure here if anybody is directly connected with the Hijli. But there are two people here who are connected indirectly. One is our legal advisor, Sri R.N. Mujumdar, whose father was here in this jail for 3.5 years. So, Sri R.N. Mujumdar, who is our legal advisor, he had some direct experiences which he has told us many times about his father being in this jail for 3.5 years. In addition to that, my school teacher in school, at his young age of 18 or 19, he was taken away from his home in Dhaka and brought to this camp in Hijli. He stayed here for 14 years in 2 sessions of 7.5 years. He completed all his degrees. He saw all the events that you have mentioned here, and he used to relate to us those events, including others of failed attempts of climbing the wall and running away, getting caught. All those events he used to tell us. His name was Bimal Yodi, and he was part of the Bengal volunteers group of Dinesh Gupta, and he eventually did not get married. He taught in a school. He taught us. He used to live alone. And once or twice, he taught us a lot of thoughts about the freedom struggle. He was a quiet man. He never married. He bought a small house in Nandigram, adopted some children there, and lived the rest of his life. So these were the people who brought us our freedom. There is another interesting story because these children in the net look at the net all the time, right? Don't you look at the internet all the time? So in the internet, you look at a story called Searching for the Box, right? What is that called? Or no? Searching with the box or searching for the box? So the story is that there were two people who suddenly found a box of negative plates made around the year 1940s, 30s, 40s time. And they were trying to decipher what it was. And they made positive pictures out of that. And then they were looking all over the country because it was made by some of the American army people who had come to India during the time which Professor Ajay mentioned. It was during that time of 1940s that they had come during the Second War. And they were there, and while trying to locate everything from those places, they were not able to do so. Somehow they came here, and because there was some history that the American people had come here. And they got 2 of our students and other people here, and they looked at the plates and were trying to identify. In one of the plates they said, where is it? Do you know this? What is written here? S-A-L-U-R. So then somebody pointed out that R is not R, it is actually A. So then they identified that it was Salwa. Then they realized that that place was actually, those photographs were actually from this place. And slowly they started identifying what it was. And then they found out one temple which they realized is the Balaji temple. So they identified it with the Balaji temple here, which was there in that time. They also identified it with the first cinema hall which was there, because the movies of that time were listed there. And if you go to the internet searching for a box, you get this whole pictures of that whole story of that time. And then they tried to find out where this development took place, where were these pictures, negatives developed, etc. Finally, in this museum, I think, they found a room, isn't it? In that box here, they found a room where, from where they realized there was a similar camera, not their camera, that camera, there was a similar camera with all the negatives, and that was the place where photography used to be done. So, there is a huge history of this place which is documented in various ways, and I believe that it is more important for us to do a much more deeper study to understand the history of this place, linking it with our freedom struggle, and then how it became the Institute of Technology. And I will, sir, take your efforts and I will be very happy to support from the Institute any of the efforts that is required to take this further. Maybe how we can, not only for people to come here, but people from a distance to know about this place. So there is this huge virtual world which you can put in cameras, and today people can see this place and do a tour of this place even from the net and know more and more about this. So what I would suggest, and I would request all of you all to consider, is to take this history, to take this as the history of the IIT system itself, and also the contributions of technological contributions of the IIT system, if we can bring up how the whole system of education came up, because another 30-40 years later on, people will forget all this. So if we can take up some more new projects in this direction and take it up, I will be very happy. Now it's, I think, time for the children to continue with their program. Do we have some sweets or anything for them? Thank you very much for coming.